KMRS-KKOK, just coming off watching a little doubleheader high school baseball and a pretty exciting game here between Minnewaska and Morris area, Chicago, Alberta. And we've got former Tigers coach and a Hall of Famer here, Lyle Rambow, joining us. Not to talk high school baseball today, but Major League Baseball has started. The Twins are going off to a kind of a slow start, but let's get your thoughts. How do you think the Twins will be this year?
Well, the thing is, you know me, Brett, I'm going to be optimistic. And right now, our hitters just are not performing. I read a thing in the paper today that as a team, we're hitting 195, which is the worst batting average we've ever had after 12 games since the Twins have been in existence. So, and you just got to expect that those guys are going to start hitting the ball. You know, we got a couple of big problems with Buxton being out. And the other one that I really think that was been really something that's hurt us is Kirilloff. I really think that Kirilloff is going to be a good major league hitter. He had surgery on that wrist last year, and now this year that he's having trouble with the same wrist. So that was really, I feel bad for him as a player because I really think he's a guy that could really help be a hitter for us. And I really like Arise. I think he should be in the lineup. You know, Correa is way underperforming, and when these hitters get going, it's going to really make a difference because our pitching staff, really, our starters have done really a good job.
That's what everyone was nervous about coming into the season was the pitching, and the pitching has propped us up. Some of these guys we signed to one-year contracts, they're looking like they certainly earned it. Maybe if they can keep it up, they'll earn a bigger contract in the offseason.
And the thing is, too, is I hate it when they trade bona fide major league players for prospects. And I know you got to do some of that to build up your team, build up your numbers behind the starting group, but obviously Barrios was one that really, I have a hard time getting over that, but I'm going to skip past that because I really think they made a mistake letting him go. But when they traded Cruz for Joe Ryan, he looks like he's a legitimate major leaguer. They traded a major leaguer and they got a legitimate major leaguer. Joe Ryan is young, he's under contract, and then they got Bailey Ober, who's been pitching really, really well for us, and but basically both those guys are rookies because they didn't pitch enough last year, I don't think, to get past the rookie. Yep. And then I really like Chris Archer. Bundy is already 2-0. So he's one of those guys that you said we hired a guy that was a former major leaguer that did really well. Both Archer and Bundy are those guys that they're trying to come back after having a few off years after being really good major league pitchers, and they look good. So our starting pitching has been really, I think, really, really good this year, but our hitting has been so far off that it's really hurt us.
Like you said, you got to just think it's going to come around eventually, but I think of guys, this next question I asked you, I think of guys like Miguel Sano or maybe a Max Kepler. Do you think it's a make or break season for anybody on this team?
You know, I know that everybody's got the big Poppy effect in their minds about Sano, and they're worried that when the Twins trade him or let him go, he's going to come back a superstar. But man, he's really stressing us Twins fans. He's just not hitting for average. Last year he came on late and he hit 30 homers, and nowadays with the analytics, if you hit 30 homers, they kind of overlook all that other stuff, all the strikeouts that he has. And Max Kepler, like you mentioned, the same kind of guy who just his average the last 2-3 years has been way down. And I get frustrated because he always hits hard ground balls into the shift. And I really think, Brett, that in the future, I don't like rules to against the shift to make players play in a certain place, because I do think that in the future teams are going to finally start adjusting and start learning how to hit the ball and beat the shift. Like Rod Carew, he's always talking about that in his tweets, that they can beat the shift if they try. And I think Max Kepler is a guy that is really penalized by the shift, and he doesn't do anything except try to hit the ball for home runs and hit it through the shift, and I think that's really hurt him. I really think he's a guy that could learn to hit the ball the opposite way, and it could really help him out. So I would like to see that.
Where do you see the Twins finishing in the AL Central? I know Chicago's going to be tough. Cleveland's doing all right too. I mean, it's a good
And that's
division.
the good news. The Twins have their record right now. They won today, 1-0, and they're 5-8, I believe.
Yep.
And Cleveland is in first place, and they're like 7-5. So everybody's got some losses. So we're, if we can, again, when our hitters get going, and I really, right now, much as I'd like to say first, I think the Twins have a good shot to be a second place team, and with the playoff format, you have a really good chance to get into the playoffs. And in the bullpen, that Johan Duran, is it Duran?
Yep.
Yeah, he can throw the ball hard, and I really think Rocco is grooming him to be a closer.
I do too.
Today he pitched the 7th. And I think they're grooming him to be a closer, and I think that's why they were able to let Rogers go, and that one hurt too. We hated to lose Rogers, and I know he's like 4 saves out of 4 opportunities for the Padres. But a lot of the guys that they let go they're not doing real well on the other teams this year. Right. Rogers is one that's doing fantastic. So some of those trades are looking pretty good. Like I say, the one where I love Cruz, and we lost him, but we got a super good starting pitcher for him.
Yep.
And I think Ryan is the real deal. And this Duran could be our closer. So as the season goes on, I think hopefully things will fall into place. And I just got to believe that our hitters are going to start hitting the ball. And and in the meantime, I complain a lot because we don't want to do anything different away from the analytics. We don't want to hit and run. We don't want to steal, bunt, that kind of thing. And because they're playing the analytic game. And I think these guys are going to start hitting the ball. I don't think Rocco's going to change that. So I think our hitters are going to have to start hitting the ball, driving the ball for extra base hits and home runs, and I think we'll be fine. That's what I'm hoping for. And I optimistically think, and I think that's what will happen.
Optimism is the word. It's been a slow start, a lot of issues, but we're 5-8. So when things start to click,
Yep.
sky's the limit, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we're not digging ourselves a huge hole. Last year it's so frustrating. We're out of the playoff race before June 1st.
Yeah.
I don't want that for sure. And as a Twins fan, if we can play 500 ball, if we can stay over 500, you're going to be in the playoff hunt at the end of the season. It makes the season a lot more fun. There'll be a lot more fans at Target Field, and that type of thing. So we got to get to 500 and play above that, and then we'll have a fun summer.
Keep us engaged, right?
Yep, keep us engaged. That's what I want.
There you go. Let's look at Twins baseball for the summer. A little bit of a slow start, but a lot of optimism. And joining us here, former Tigers coach Lyle Rambow. Thanks, Lyle.
Now, thanks a lot, Brett. Always great talking ball with you, my man.